If you allow the pressure of the world to get to you, wahala go dey. Like, you're just going to lose it. Okay, life, they go with the punches, but you're not supposed to go with the punches. You're supposed to live life intense. What about the mental health? We don't talk about it enough. A lot of this is cancer, but we never ever. I won't say never, but we don't always touch the mental health. And I said, okay, that has to change. Let us talk about it today. And you're going to help me with your name. Yes, let me leave that one to you. Can you tell me your name, please?
Okay, so make an attempt. Try to pronounce it.
Toluse.
You tried.
Say,
you
okay,
tried.
help me.
Toluse.
Toluse. Then
So in Yoruba, there's no SH.
she. I said she. I'm supposed to say she.
Exactly.
Okay, and then your name is Dove.
Yeah.
Like your biological
My
name.
biological name.
Dove.
Yeah.
Huh. I thought it was like a typo.
No.
Like for David, I said no, I don't want David, I want Dove. Okay, and then Francis.
Yes.
So what should I go by now? Which one do you want to go by?
Anyone.
It's also 98.3 Mainland FM Health Plus. And we said we want to talk about stress management. Give us tips and techniques on how we can have a healthier mind and body. And also, we have so many myths in this world. Like, there's no topic you bring out right now that somebody has not heard something about. And that thing's always... But first of all, let's talk about stress. When somebody says, I'm stressed out, what does it mean by that? What can be characterized as stress?
So I think the first question to ask when someone says I'm stressed is to ask, are you stressed mentally or are you stressed physically? And it's important because you can be stressed physically in the sense that you're tired because of hard work that you have done, your physical strength and stuff like that. But you can also be tired in terms of some emotional draining, some mental draining, and it's important because the approaches are different. So if you say you're stressed physically because of the work that you have done, there's a need for replenishment of that energy. So you may say, okay, take some rest, take your bath, eat, and bothering you. What are you struggling with? What's giving you concern? Because mental stress comes from that point where you're bothered about something is taking away your sleep, something is affecting your thinking, right? And in the end, it can affect your physical health. And that's often tell people that, look, your mental health is a complete thing. Whatever affects you mentally has a tendency to affect you physically, and whatever affects you physically has a tendency to affect you mentally, because you get bothered, right? So when someone says that I'm stressed, each time I tell him I'm stressed, we would ask that question: are you stressed mentally or are you stressed physically? And when I began practice, it became something that I paid attention. I was like, this is actually true, because the idea of I'm stressed, I was just like, sorry, it to be well. Like,
what is the cause?
Right. So exactly, what's the cause? So if someone says, is there an emotional issue that you're struggling with? So maybe you are having some issues around work, and it just seems like you're in a vacuum. It seems like you're not enjoying what you're doing, and it's taking away your peace, taking away your sense. You're bothered about, so a whole lot of things can catapult into that mental stress that you're struggling with. And the reason why mental stress exists is because you're thinking. So your mind, your heart is heavy, so it can come from any angle. It can come from either your thought or something that is happening to you physically and that is generating some thoughts within you.
I remember when I was in my 100 level in uni, I got this job where I had to write for somebody. She had, anytime it's time for me to write the stories, I used to feel this, like my head was swelling. Like I cannot, like if you put a pin, I'll just explode. I had this mental drain. Like it was terrible. One day I said, what am I doing? This job is actually taking a huge toll on me. I just told her, I said, if I continue, source of a big problem for me. So I understand what you mean by, many things taking a toll on you. Even can be relationship. Every time the man is always gaslighting you, or the woman is gaslighting you. Anything. So those are.
I think you're not going to mention woman gaslighting.
I am a very balanced person. Causes of stress in today's society, right? So you mentioned that stress can physically affect you. So what stress?
You can be mentally stressed, and because of how deep you're thinking, stroke can occur.
Okay.
Cardiac arrest can occur. Right? You can completely lose focus. Sometimes when you have some people hitting and you lose control of yourself, and anything can happen. Right? And you see, the truth is, these things happen very fast. So, I mean, I often tell people that when you start getting bothered, anything that takes away your sleep, don't even wait until it takes away your sleep. So maybe before it takes away your sleep, because it happens like split seconds. The way our brain processes things are very, very fast, like milliseconds, if I can use that word. And so you might be okay right now, but you're struggling with something. And it's important that you don't wait until you can no longer control or handle those things before you start seeking help. So it can come in various ways, because of your thinking can illness that requires diagnosis, and sometimes goes as far as you needing medication and not just therapy. So, and the moment you are depressed, what happens? Your productivity is affected. You know, you don't want to get out of bed, you don't want to go to work, you're probably dragging your feet on around. You know, you're tired and you can't even explain the source of your tiredness. And everybody is wondering, why is this person grumpy? Why is this person doing this? You know, you're given a task and you do rubbish. Or, you know, so at the end of the day, it's that you're not even interested in anything around you. And gradually you become very sedentary. You don't want to associate with people. I see that's why when you look at the definition of mental health, it has about 4 components. It has your cognition, which is your thinking. It has your social well-being, which is your ability to interact with people, right? It has your emotional well-being, which is a function of you being able to handle yourself emotionally, or being able to make decisions with a clear head without your emotions getting a hang of you. And then it has that physical well-being, which is that state of, let me try to draw a scenario like I try to do. So if someone is ill, you're going to be bothered as to when will this sickness come to an end. This thing is not going well because I'm not there, because I can't get up, why this person is doing this. And gradually you find yourself thinking about that sickness, thinking about your life before the sickness, what will happen to you, and before you say jack. And it's often said that most times what kills people when they are ill, especially with terminal illnesses, is not just the terminal illnesses. Of course, that's not to take away the fact that the illness is terminal. Is the thought process that they find themselves going through. You're already thinking to yourself, man, this is how my life is going to end.
That is why people, before they find out about their HIV status, they're okay.
Exactly.
And the next moment, when they just find out, oh, okay, so now this are good, they go. And that's
because
it.
already you're not thinking of the healing process or the healing journey that is available. You're already thinking of the end of life.
Yeah.
So we usually call it at that point is get towards I am going. So your thinking changes, right? And everything around, if care is not taken, it doesn't matter. So that thinking process begins to consume you. It controls everything that we do, whether it is physical, whether it is for those who are spiritual, whatever it is, it controls the whole. And that's how we need to actually pay attention to it so much.
Okay, then let's now go into techniques. You know, effective techniques for managing stress. Can you tell us some of them?
So first off, it's important to the journey begins from.
Okay, the first one is to accept that there's a problem.
That there's a problem.
Okay.
Because you can't help if there is no problem.
Okay.
So you have to accept that there's a problem. Then you have to accept that you need help.
Okay.
Because usually when people tell me that, oh, there's this person, first thing I ask them is this person aware that you're trying to get help for them? Because if that person doesn't accept that there is help, there is nothing you want to do
that will be effective.
Now, when you understand and accept that you need help, then the next question is, where do I get this help? Or what kind of help do I even need? So for helping yourself, first of all, before even reaching out to a professional, try as much as possible to identify where the stress is coming from.
Okay.
Right? Check your daily routine. Check the conversations that you had during that day. Did anyone, to the end of those conversations, hit you? At what point did you realize that your mood changed all of a sudden and you started thinking and stuff? If you're able to identify that, then now you know where the source is, right? Then now to recalibrate your mind to like, you know what? I am not that person now. How do I adjust my work routine? How do I adjust my relationships? But I won't take away the fact that it's possible for you not to be able to do this by yourself. That's very possible.
Okay.
But I'll come to that later on. Now, if you're able to identify that, if you have your way, take a nap.
Take a nap.
Take a nap.
Why?
Because there are 2 types of problems. Or let me say 3. 1, the one you can control. 2, the one you cannot control. 3, the one you can control partially. Or instead of using the word control, let me put change.
Okay, change.
What you have power to change,
Yeah.
you can change it.
Yes.
What you don't have power to change, you will just be giving yourself unnecessary stress thinking about it. Go and sleep.
And sleep. Eat and sleep.
Eat. You know.
Try the chop.
Yeah. You know, and sleep. Sleep is not like the problem would go away. Implement the changes. In all, whether you can change, whether you cannot change, whether it's partial change, if sleep works for you, just go and sleep first.
Yeah.
Like we often say, problem no they finish.
No, they finish.
Right. So we exist to solve solutions, whether for ourselves or for others.
True.
We exist to solve solutions. So you have to take those solutions or take those problems bit by bit, one step at a time.
Okay.
But the event that you're not able to even pinpoint where the challenge is coming from, that's where you need to speak to a professional. Because what will the professional do? The professional will take you through a journey and help you see where you're yourself. That you need to get someone who is trained or experienced in that line to actually take you through that journey of realizing where the issues is stemming from, and then that person can now take you.
It's 3 Mainland FM, Sound of Lagos. You're listening to Health Plus on this dial. My name is Lilian, and I have Francis with me. He is a life coach as well as a Yes, 98.3 Mainland FM, Sound of Lagos. We have been talking about managing stress, techniques and tips for a healthier mind, which will lead to a healthier body. We've talked about how to, go on that healing journey, what steps to take. And that time say we are doing ourselves, Sometimes now we do ourselves. Everybody are, oh yes, member, anything. Oh yes, I can do it.
I can do it.
And you know that you cannot do it. So can you tell us ways that we can create a stress-free environment at home and
You accept. It's not every responsibility that you accept. It's not every party you attend.
how do you know what I saw this morning? It is okay to say I cannot come. It's okay to say that this is above my budget. Even Lagos, so she did her wedding in Abuja and told us that we're going to pay for hotel, flight. I'm like, babe, not me and you. I wish you a very happy married life, but I'm not going to be a part of that, journey. Just be happy and
I'd
I'll be
rather
happy.
send that money to you
I'm telling
after
you.
the wedding. You would even enjoy that money more. And you see, because we live in a society where, it's a normal human thing. You want to belong. You want to be part of something. You want to be part of an idea, a community. But the truth is, when everything is reality, so it's not every event that your friend is organizing. If your friend doesn't understand the fact that you don't have the financial means to participate, then there's a problem with that friendship.
That is not a friend.
That means that friendship or that relationship is on falsehood. It is not everything that your partner wants that you give. If you cannot kind of business that you accept as an entrepreneur, because see, yes, you want to make money, but at the end of the day, you want to be careful that you don't use that money to treat an illness.
There's this person that I know. You collect a job, and then if you're that kind of client, that is it. You're not going to stress me. And people call her rude, but she's just trying to manage and maintain a healthier mental health.
But we need to be careful though to separate irresponsibility.
Yes.
At times that I look at a case, I'm like, you know what, this is going to stress me, and I'm not at that frame of mind where I can actually take them. I realize that I'm not in the right frame of mind. I tell my client, you know what, can I take today off? I'm do beyond what I'm capable of. Everyone has a stretch limit. In physics, there's what stretch limit is okay. If this thing can go 1 meter, you can still stretch it a bit to another 1 meter. After that 1 meter, it's gone.
It's gone.
Right. Don't get yourself to that breaking point. I also see some people driving, and then maybe there's just another issue. So now you have screamed and screamed and screamed. You get back into your car. Sometimes these things are good narrows where, because you are angry, you touch somebody and the person is off on the floor. That trigger you. Understand your limits. How far can you go, and stay within it. With time,
Absolutely.
nobody you are the only one who can love yourself the most. So if you're not doing things that show that you love yourself,
surrounding stress,
okay,
first of all, they say, what is wrong with this? Oh, my stomach is pain. Okay, stomach. Which side? Okay, take this one because this one works for me. Well, this myth says that stress is the same for everyone.
So I don't agree that stress is the same for everyone, because like I said, talking about stress, if you just say stress, that's generic.
I'm talking about mental.
When I'm mentally stressed may not be how the other person would feel when mentally stressed. Some people begin to develop a headache. Mm-hmm. Some don't. Some, their eyes become heavy.
You see it in my eyes.
I mean, it's not the same. The feelings are not the same.
Yeah.
Yes, the diagnosis may be the same. Yes, you are stressed.
Symptoms.
What are the symptoms? What's the genesis? Where is it coming from? What are the triggers? So I don't agree that stress is the same, right? Where you will not always be the same.
Okay, this one that says, that people, alcohol is the best,
Talk about numbing your stress. I think it comes from deal with it, right? That it's, so when you see something is a depressant, it calms you, right? It kind of like brings you down to a lowly state, right? And that's why people who overconsume it, they end up sleeping like log of wood, because it weakens you and then forces you to sleep, right? But it doesn't take away whatever it is that is stressing you. Do you get my point now?
Yes.
Only for that moment you have used, if I can use the word, an inducer to get it to sleep. You have gotten a pseudo solution to what you're experiencing at that point in time. So people use it as a way to get away from that particular period. Earlier on I talked about you sleeping and resting, and then when you wake up, you deal with it. So people kind of like use it in their words to forget about the problem.
Okay.
But a problem that you haven't worked at solving, or a problem that still exists as a problem, is still a problem. So whether you try to take it off at that point in time, or you try to go to bed at that point in time, it still exists until you take actions. So numbing your stress is just you procrastinating your day of reckoning.
Okay, before we continue on the myths, I want you to talk about ways that organizations can help aid their employees to reduce stress, because a lot of times these things start from the organizations. I've seen organizations where they just give you, you have. I saw an article where there's a time you sleep in a certain country. If you don't sleep at the office, then they will start looking at you as someone that does not have common sense. So they have beds. Snooze room. They think that when you sleep, you are more effective. You work better, and So can you tell us ways, especially in this area of mental health?
So talking about everything just hard in this country, I've come to realize that in that hardness is what some people need to make money.
Yes, exactly. That is true.
That is true. So I think different organizations with their different work culture, right? Some organizations, yes, believe there is a need for a snooze room, and you're trying to work and then you just feel like you're straight. Just go there, take a nap, you're better off. For example, that may not necessarily work for someone like me, because if I sleep in the afternoon and I wake up, I wake up tired.
Yeah.
Just something to relieve that tension, and then you get back to your desk to work. Also, the travel time, especially in a place like Lagos, it's a big concern. If you don't leave your home 5 a.m., people live as far as end to end. They leave home 4:30 a.m. They don't get back home until 12 midnight.
I've been there.
How many hours do you have to sleep? Right? And so and you can't blame them, because it's what they can afford in terms of where they live, and that was where they got a job. But path is a journey. And yes, you want certain amount, you want to get certain things and stuff like that, but you don't want a situation where even that money, your funeral casket, you're not working to pay that money to the hospital, you're not working for your next of kin. You want to labor and eat the fruit of the labor, right? So you need to be able to draw that balance and that parallel, when you're picking up a job vis-a-vis where you stay.
We don't.
If in a situation where we have a good transport system, you can drop your car at home, hop on the bus. That's why I like this bus service. I don't want to mention them. To me, like I'm promoting them.
Yeah.
Where you get on it, you are relaxed all through your ride. I mean, AC is blowing on your head. Like
the days I take it, I just relax.
That's it.
Especially when the time I used to come from really far, a very far place. So I used to use that bus service, and I'll just relax. Sometimes I might sleep off.
Exactly.
I put alarm and then I wake up.
You get like you're relaxed. You're not trying to tell one driver if you hit me. You know, you're not struggling with conductor. Where's my change? Or you are going and then the bus stops working. Have right now. How can I create something for myself that is workable? And organizations need to begin to look at the idea of ask yourself, the work that we do here, is it really necessary that we come to the office every day of the week? Close at 4. I mean, at the end of the day, there's a possibility that I'll be in that office from 8 to 5, and what I'm supposed to do, I still have been, because work no they finish. Because if work finishes, if any job finishes, work culture, looking at all this resumption and closing time, is it possible for you to provide bus service, you know, for your employees? Is it possible for you to create an incentive around maybe even how much you pay them or how they work that the organization does? Nobody can come to say this is how every organization should work. No. True. Because every organization has the problem they are solving.
For instance, in media and maybe a tech company, they work. You can't tell me to work from home in the media.
Do you understand? Space, so, or you tell a doctor to work from home, you know. So, I mean, at the end of the day, every organization work from home. Then they can begin to think, okay, how can we make the environment conducive? How can we make the working condition conducive? That's the way I see it.
Okay. There are lots of questions I have to ask you, but we are pressed for time.
There is no health without mental health. If you are physically healthy and you are mentally ill, they are losing thousands, millions, billions of dollars every single day. So organizations also need to pay attention to the mental health of their employees. I've seen organizations where even the HMO plans that they say they have does not even cover them to even talk to a mental health professional, you know. And these are the things that organizations begin to look at. And most importantly, you listening to me as an individual, you owe it to yourself to keep yourself sane. Nobody owns or owes you an happiness. You have that responsibility to make yourself happy. So go out there, do the things you love to do as long as they are legal and they are not affecting the other person in any negative. Otherwise, that will be selfishness. And make sure that you stay jiggy always.
Stay jiggy always. We have good topics, you know. We can. So maybe some other time we'll do another session on this. And do not be shy to go to a therapist.
Don't be shy.
Nobody sends you, honestly. So if you're thinking about what people think or what people will say, when you're going, they'll come and say, and he was a good man. Why didn't he even go and seek help? Why didn't he call me? So take care of yourself. Nobody can love you like you. Up next is Still on the Mountain AM. Health Plus comes on your airways on 98.3 Mainland FM Sound of Lagos. Thank you very much, Francis, for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Toluse Dove Francis.
Thank you for having me.
Enjoy good music from 98.3